From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update. Your weekend weather update is made possible by Caltrans District 2.
Well, Mother Nature is beginning to play games with many of us, especially at the north end of the valley. We'll get into that in a second. Take a look at Elk Country, that is, here in Trinidad. Still the overcast skies, still seeing that rain out there. Heavy rainfall. We've got flood advisories, warnings, the works for many of us along the north coast here. Del Norte, Humboldt County, even parts of Trinity County as well. Take a look at Lake Oroville, North Fore Bay. You can see the wind blowing a little bit, but not too bad. We've got the overcast skies there, and certainly see a little bit of rainfall out into Butte County, and not to mention Glenn County as well. There's a look at Trinity Center. Look at that. We're getting a nice little fresh dusting of snow there, and looks like it's snowing at the current hour, at least as of late morning, early afternoon hours here. So yeah, it looks like still seeing some of that snow out there as well. So definitely an interesting start to the day. You can take a look at Lassen Park at 6,700 feet. Looks like we're seeing some fresh snow out there as well. All right, so let's take a look at the overall headlines, see what's going on and what we can expect. Number one, the main event here is today, and we've certainly been talking about that. The heavier rainfall, the snow in the mountains, the travel delays due to chain requirements out there. But after today, it's going to be drier and warmer, especially as we take you into next week. Now, by around Tuesday, Wednesday, there may be a chance for some rain, but it doesn't even look to be all that impressive. It's fairly high snow levels along associated with it as well. So you've got this area of low pressure right here. That's the storm system. So essentially what's happened is this. So here's the setup as far as what we've seen so far. You think about the cooler air that's been in place over the last several days. So the colder air has already been in place. So as the storm system moved in, it tapped into this moisture that you see right here. And then of course it fell in the form of snow. Now the colder air that in a sense got trapped in some areas kept those snow levels fairly low. Now I was not anticipating snow in the valley. And for all intents and purposes, we really didn't see real snow, if you will. What I mean by that is when a lot of you ask, is it going to snow in the valley? You're asking, is it going to snow? Can I get the sleds out? Can I play with the kids, right? Rain-snow mix, you know, it's just not what people want when it comes to snow in the valley. Now, here's what happened with today, so far this morning, and even into the early afternoon hours, is number one, you have the snow at the surface. And what's happening is it's just cold enough for us, you've got the snow in the air, right? Now, what's happening is that snow is falling, and it's falling into the warmer air at the surface. Now, there are a few factors that go into how long it takes that snowflake to melt. Number one, how warm is it at the surface? And number two, how fast, how much snow are we seeing? Because sometimes you have a lot of that snow and it's falling and it has a harder time melting. It takes longer for it to melt because you have this big rush of cold air coming down with that heavy snow, right? So then it kind of tends to fall in the form of even some big fluffy flakes, but then it's too warm at the surface for it to really accumulate. But another thing that you can kind of tend to see happen is it may be, temperatures around mid-30s, so it's still fairly cold at the surface, but not warm enough to really support a lot of accumulating snow or much in the way of accumulating snow. So we've been kind of just right there on that turning point of where we're seeing snow in the valley, as opposed to as you start heading up 1,000 feet, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet. But bottom line, when we start seeing that in the valley, then you can bet there are going to be a lot of issues here as you start heading up into some of the foothills and into the lower elevations of the mountains, creating a lot of problems with those travel delays. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of the day today. Okay, so you can see about 3 o'clock today, we're still seeing that area around Mount Shasta and into eastern Siskiyou County, not to mention Modoc County, seeing that snow that's out there. Okay, so I still think we're going to see some heavy snow around that area. This is where we're still probably going to see chain requirements on I-5 even through the afternoon. But I think for the most part, we should start to see, all right, we should start to see this turn more into rain as far as some of the snow that we've seen on Highway 299. You can see a lot more in the way of rain here, but also heavy rainfall still continuing to bring some flooding concerns, especially down towards, you can see here, parts of Humboldt County, making its way into Trinity County as well. But the good news is because of the flooding that we're seeing, we're starting to kind of see things begin to wrap themselves up. The rain is not nearly as heavy as we get into the mid-afternoon hours for parts of the north coast. But now we're seeing the heavier rainfall making its way into the valley and the heavier snow off into the eastern mountains as well. Now 6 p.m. today, look at how things are starting to kind of wrap themselves up. Snow flurries off to the north, but still some decent heavy snow off down towards the southeast, basically the southern Cascades and northern Sierra. Now we take into 10 o'clock tonight, and yes, we got a few scattered showers here and there, some snow flurries off to the north and east. Even as we go into early tomorrow morning, maybe some flurries off to the east as well. But Sunday is looking to be a dry day. And that'll be the case as we take you on into Monday as well, and Tuesday of next week. But I do want to show you actually, as we take a look at the long range here in a second, you'll see that, yeah, maybe around Tuesday there could be another round of some showers. But again, we'll take a look at that here in a second. Rainfall totals on top of what we've already seen, yeah, upwards of about a half an inch to an inch in the valley, and about the same here for the coast. And then, of course, we are seeing less rainfall as you head off to the north and east. Flood alert. So these are some of the concerns that we got to be concerned about. There is a flood warning, a flood watch, a flood advisory. We've got the works for the north coast and even parts of southern Trinity County as well. The main concerns are this, is really number one, flooding concerns are going to be something we'll have to be concerned about through at least tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Creeks and streams, if they haven't already risen above their flood stages, they are going to get close. If you have a poor drainage area, you can see some of the urban streets, see some flooding out there. And mudslides and debris flows are something we've got to be concerned about, especially off towards Del Norte County, right? Highway 199, that could be a bit of a problem there. But even 299, we've got to watch for that potential for mudslides and debris flows as well. All right, snow. Yeah, I think we can see some decent snow still off into Mount Shasta, not to mention the ski park. But of course, less snow as you start heading off to the east. But still some decent snow nonetheless. That's why we still have the winter storm warning and not to mention the winter weather advisories out there as well. All right, so let's take a look at the forecast road conditions. And there you can see we're still seeing some of the wintry mix over the higher elevations through 10 o'clock tonight. Now, even though things are starting to taper off by Sunday morning, there's going to be leftover snow on those mountain roads. So I expect, especially east of I-5, especially as you start heading above 4,000 feet, there may still be some chain requirements out there. So please check those road conditions before heading out tomorrow morning. Now, the winds are expected to start to die down. However, still this afternoon and evening, eastern mountains, even the valley, still seeing some gusty winds. Now, the key to some of the snowflakes that we've seen in the north end of the valley is once we see those winds shift more from the south, it's going to help to usher in some warmer air. And as a result, it's going to be harder to support those snowflakes at the north end of the valley. So as those winds pick up from the south, chances for snowflakes in the valley are going to be slimmer as we take you through the afternoon. Now we take you into your Sunday. The winds are finally starting to die down, no longer an issue. But that said, there still is a wind advisory for central Siskiyou County until 7 o'clock this evening and for the valley until 10 o'clock tonight due to those gusty winds. All right, let's take a look at the long range. So here's Monday. Then we go into Tuesday. And again, I said earlier, to be dry on Tuesday. No, I meant to say it's going to be raining possibly on Tuesday. This model has been a little bit more consistent with the potential for showers on Tuesday and then drying out by next Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but by next weekend, maybe another round of rain. Now, here's the one thing I'd like to mention about next week's rain. High snow levels, probably 5,000 feet and higher, not only next Tuesday, but even going into next weekend. Now, that's something we don't want to hear, especially when we're talking about the ski park. Fingers crossed that we at least still see in the form of snow out towards the ski park. Wave heights are expected to decrease as we go into your Sunday. So that certainly is some good news there. All right, let's take a look at your forecast for the rest of the day today. It's going to be on the cool side, temperatures in the 40s eventually this afternoon. There you can see, of course, temperatures in the 30s, even some low 40s for some of the higher elevations. All right, so let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for today. All right, for the next 7 days, not today. But here you can see here, again, those snow levels, on average, around 3,500 feet, 4,000 feet, and 4,500 feet off towards the eastern mountains. But by tomorrow, we're looking at dry conditions. Look at the snow levels I put there for Tuesday. 5,000 to 6,000 feet. So much higher snow levels, warmer air moving in. And then there you can see it looks like drier conditions here for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And for the Valley, we're looking at those dry conditions for your Sunday. Slight chance for showers on Tuesday. It certainly looks like it's getting a better chance at this point. And then it looks like for Wednesday through Friday, we are going to start to dry things out again and actually warm things up, low 60s by Thursday and Friday. And your 7-day outlook for the coast, well, of course, we've got the rain out there for today, and then dries out for Sunday, Monday. Chance for showers Tuesday, drying out for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.